It had once been a well-known hotel in Zhili Town, Huzhou, China, but on this particular day, something felt off outside the Minji Hotel. Police tape sealed off the entrance, marked with bold "Do Not Enter" signs. Neighbors gathered in small clusters, whispering about a horrifying crime. 4 people had been murdered inside the hotel. What exactly happened here? You've probably heard of cases where the police catch the killer almost immediately, and then there are those cases where, even decades later, the perpetrator remains a complete mystery. But this story is different from both of those. Today, I'm going to tell you about a case in which the suspect managed to disappear in plain sight for more than 20 years, all while re-emerging publicly as a well-known writer in Chinese media. Hello, and welcome to Dark Asia Files. Back in 1995, Zhili Town in Huzhou was considered a booming economic hub in China. Trade was thriving. Businesses were opening left and right, and the streets were packed with commercial activity. Many people with even a basic sense of entrepreneurship saw opportunity, opening restaurants, small shops, and hotels to capitalize on the town's rapid growth. Mr. Min, the owner of the Minji Hotel, was one of them. The hotel wasn't wildly successful, but it did well enough to provide Mr. Min and his family with a comfortable, stable life. In the early morning hours of November 29, 1995, a housekeeping employee at the Minji Hotel began her routine cleaning duties. As she reached the second floor, she was met with a horrifying sight. Mr. Min and another man were lying motionless on the floor, surrounded by pools of blood that had soaked into the tiles. Panicked, the housekeeper immediately called out for Mrs. Min, but there was no response. Terrified and shaking, she rushed to notify the police. After receiving the call, police rushed to the scene immediately. Officers sealed off the hotel entrance to keep curious onlookers from contaminating potential evidence. Outside, the crowd buzzed with speculation and fear. Inside, the atmosphere was tense and eerily quiet. Investigators made their way to the second floor, where the bodies of Mr. Min and a male guest had been discovered in room 203. It was clear they had been dead for some time, knowing that Mr. Min had a wife and a young son. Officers began searching the remaining rooms. What they found next was even more horrifying. In room 202, the bodies of Mrs. Min and the couple's 12-year-old son lay cold in pools of blood. In total, 4 victims had been murdered inside the hotel. The forensic examination revealed that all 4 victims died from blunt force trauma caused by a smooth, rounded object, possibly a hammer or a heavy club. The rooms showed clear signs of being ransacked, based on the condition of the scene. Police concluded this was likely a robbery that escalated into a quadruple homicide. Authorities quickly secured the crime scene and began interviewing hotel staff and nearby residents. According to the front desk clerk, shortly before the murders occurred, 2 men speaking with an Anhui province accent had checked into the hotel. They stayed only a few hours before leaving. Aside from their Anhui accent, police had no additional identifying information. At the scene, investigators recovered a cigarette butt from the Shengtang brand, a popular brand in Wuhu City, Anhui Province. This detail strengthened the theory that the suspects may have been from Anhui. Detectives also collected other pieces of evidence, including a wool scarf, fingerprints found on drawers, and shoe prints on the floor. However, due to technological limitations at the time, much of the physical evidence could not be effectively analyzed, and the investigation gradually stalled. One of the biggest challenges was that there appeared to be no known connection between the suspects and the victims. Police theorized that the killers may have posed as guests with the intention of committing robbery, but were discovered by Mr. Min and the others, leading them to murder everyone to eliminate witnesses. With only vague descriptions from hotel staff, limited usable forensic evidence, no guest registration records, and no security cameras, investigators faced enormous obstacles in identifying the perpetrators. And just like that, the case went cold, remaining unsolved for more than 20 years. In early August 2007, police finally made a breakthrough. The Major Crimes Unit reopened the case, using updated DNA testing technology to re-examine old evidence and revisit overlooked details. After 2 months of cross-checking DNA collected from a cigarette butt found at the crime scene against samples from over 30,000 individuals across 15 provinces and cities, investigators finally identified the suspect in the brutal Minji Hotel murders. What shocked everyone was this: the killer was someone almost everybody knew. For more than 2 decades, he had been living freely, building a successful, seemingly happy life outside the reach of the law. He was even admired by many for his achievements. The man responsible for the bloody massacre 22 years earlier was Liu Yongbiao, a well-known writer from Anhui province. Once the DNA match was confirmed, authorities moved quickly. On the morning of August 11, 2017, investigators arrived at Liu Yongbiao's home in Zhili Town, Nanling County, China, to take him into custody. He did not resist. He did not shout. He calmly stood up and said, "I've been waiting for you to come all these years." Before being taken away, he handed his wife a letter. At the end of it, he wrote, "For more than 20 years, I've been waiting for this day. At last, I'm free from the mental torment that has haunted me all this time." Chen Hongyue, the lead investigator on the Minji Hotel case, later revealed that officers had quietly canvassed Liu's village before the arrest. It seemed he sensed something was coming, which may explain why he had already prepared the letter for his wife. Just days later, with Liu Yongbiao's cooperation, police arrested his accomplice, Wang Deming. Born in 1953 in Shanghai, the 2 men quickly confessed to the murders. According to Liu's statement, he came from a rural background and had limited formal education. At the time, he was pursuing literary collaboration work but had not yet achieved recognition or financial stability, with no steady income. He traveled to Huzhou to look for temporary work. There, he happened to reconnect with an old friend from his hometown, Wang Deming. Struggling financially and desperate for money to pay for his daughter's eye surgery, Liu agreed without hesitation when Wang suggested committing theft. Wang had told him that the owner of the Minji Hotel was wealthy. The 2 men then began planning to steal money from the hotel. The next morning, Liu Yongbiao and Wang Deming went to the hotel and checked into a room with another guest, a man surnamed Yu from Shandong province. After noticing that Yu appeared to be carrying a significant amount of cash, the 2 men gave in to greed and decided to kill him. Wang restrained Mr. Yu while Liu grabbed a metal bar and bludgeoned him to death. After searching the body, they found only 20 yuan, fearing they might be exposed. They came up with another plan, pretending they were checking out. They lured the hotel owner to the room, intending to rob him of his gold ring and eliminate him as well. But they didn't stop there. The 2 men then went into the adjacent room, where Mrs. Min and her 12-year-old son were staying. Using the same bloodied metal bar, they repeatedly struck both victims in the head, killing them. They took another 100 yuan before leaving. They stripped the Min couple of their gold jewelry and ransacked the rooms, taking anything of value they could find. Then they fled the hotel. After splitting the money, the 2 men went their separate ways and completely cut off contact with each other. Wang Deming moved to Shanghai, where he eventually built a successful career. At the time of his arrest, he was serving as the legal representative of an investment consulting firm. Liu Yongbiao returned to Anhui and continued pursuing his writing career, gradually gaining recognition and becoming well known. On December 29, 2017, although the Minji Hotel murders had technically exceeded the statute of limitations under normal circumstances, China's Supreme People's Procuratorate approved prosecution due to the especially severe nature of the crime and its significant impact on social stability. On July 30th, the Huzhou Intermediate People's Court sentenced both Liu Yongbiao and Wang Deming to death for robbery and murder. This left many people asking, what had Liu Yongbiao accomplished in his literary career that made so many feel both outrage at his crimes and regret over the loss of his talent? Liu Yongbiao was born in 1965 in Nanling, China. He showed literary talent as early as his school years, after finishing middle school. He began writing seriously when he failed the entrance exam for high school. He decided to dedicate himself fully to literature. He spent his savings on a camera, taking freelance photos to support himself while continuing to write poetry and prose. In 1985, his first work was published in Future Writers, a magazine affiliated with the Hefei Writers Association. Then, in 1994, his short story Forever Remembering Youth was published in Qingming, a prestigious literary magazine widely regarded as a point of pride among Chinese writers. Liu became the first writer from Nanling to have work featured in that respected publication. After achieving some early recognition, Liu Yongbiao applied to study in the creative writing program at the Luchun Literary Institute. In 2005, his first short story collection, A Movie, was published. The book significantly elevated his reputation and earned him third prize at the 2006 Anhui Provincial Social and Literary Arts Awards, a highly respected competition at the time. His work stood out and received strong critical praise. In March 2010, the Wuhu Federation of Literary and Art Circles and the Nanling Writers Association jointly organized a seminar dedicated to Liu Yongbiao's work. The event drew a large audience and further solidified his growing fame. He went on to publish several lengthy books, including Dance of the Soul and The Hardest Things to Say, each exceeding 500 pages. He also wrote the film screenplay Doors and Windows and the crime novel The Secret of Sin, which featured a writer-protagonist entangled in a series of mysterious murders, after Liu later confessed to his crimes. Many readers began speculating that the novel may have been inspired by his own hidden past. In July 2013, Liu Yongbiao was officially admitted into the China Writers Association, a prestigious honor that further boosted his public profile. Media outlets frequently praised him, often referring to him as a talented farmer-turned-writer, even comparing him to Mo Yan, one of China's most celebrated authors. Then, in November 2014, Liu published his 500-plus page novel, The Pilgrim Wu Song. The book quickly gained popularity and was widely read. Within a year, it was adapted into a 50-episode television drama of the same name. There's a chance you may have even seen the series, without knowing it was created by a convicted murderer. After the truth came to light, viewers began asking unsettling questions. The vicious tiger depicted in his novel, who was it meant to represent, in hindsight? Perhaps the most obvious answer was Liu himself. Cases like this force us to reconsider what a killer looks like. Not every murderer fits the stereotype of a visibly disturbed or outwardly violent individual. Some appear educated, composed, even refined, while harboring deeply controlling and ruthless tendencies beneath the surface. Others seem perfectly ordinary, friendly, and gifted, admired for their talents and achievements. And yet, in the end, they are capable of committing horrific, unforgivable crimes that few could ever imagine, even after the truth came out. Many people in Liu Yongbiao's hometown still described him as a good person. Some believed the robbery and murders were the result of desperate circumstances, that poverty and hardship pushed him down that path. They argued that if he had received better guidance or grown up in a more stable environment, maybe he never would have chosen crime. That perspective says a lot. For 22 years, Liu lived as a respected, accomplished writer. He presented himself as kind, thoughtful, and successful because of that. When police finally showed up at his door, many people simply couldn't believe it. The famous author they admired, the man they supported and celebrated, was the same person responsible for a brutal quadruple murder 2 decades earlier. Which raises an important question. Did Liu Yongbiao ever truly feel remorse during those 22 years he lived outside the reach of the law? In my view, the answer could be yes or no, if he genuinely regretted what he had done. Why didn't he turn himself in at some point during those long years? Why continue enjoying his success, appearing proudly on television, building his reputation? But if he felt no remorse at all, then why did he calmly wait for the police and quietly confess when they arrived? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Maybe there were moments when guilt weighed heavily on him, as he himself claimed, but in the end, the desire to protect his freedom, his status, and his comfortable life may have outweighed whatever remorse he felt. When this case finally closed, the deepest sense of loss may have belonged to his family and his fans. They had offered their admiration, support, and love to a man who had taken innocent lives. In many ways, that betrayal may be the most painful part of all. That concludes today's case. What are your thoughts? Do you believe Liu Yongbiao truly felt remorse? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to Dark Asia Files for more real true crime cases from around the world.